you a struggling chiropractor trying to build your practice? Are you an ambitious chiropractor looking to grow your practice above and beyond industry norms? When it comes to marketing, if you've got questions, he's got answers. If you've got problems, he's got solutions. He is Rossi Eason, the founder of the Chiropractic Marketing Bureau and author of the Secrets of Superstar Chiropractors book. Now here is the man himself, Rossi Eason.
Hi, this is Rossi Eason, the founder of the Chiropractic Marketing Bureau and author of the Secrets of Superstar Chiropractors book. And in my last video, I spoke to you about how to use your unique selling proposition to optimize your current sales and marketing process, or better known as creating an internal sales and conversion system. In this video, I'm going to show you how to actually optimize your patient list. But first, I want to start out by giving you a case study. Now, Dr. Greg Nielsen, who is one of the doctors that I interviewed for my Secrets of Superstar Chiropractors book, does an absolutely phenomenal job at patient relationship marketing. He actually runs an in-house physical print newsletter that he sends out to all of his patients. Now, this newsletter is full of all kind of exciting and interesting things. For example, he includes what he calls staff celebrities, where he will actually include his staff or make it look like a member of his staff wrote a part of his newsletter. What he calls patient celebrities. If he has a patient that's doing something interesting or fun, he will feature them in the newsletter as well. So it's not all about health and stuff. It's actually about a lot of interesting things, and of course it always relates back to chiropractic. However, his newsletter is so good that people will actually move out of his area, will still ask to remain on the newsletter just because it's that good. Now, this definitely still benefits him because they probably still have friends and family back home, which they might refer to Dr. Nielsen. The newsletter is not the only thing Dr. Nielsen actually sends out. He also sends out postcards and interesting sales letters and all kinds of things to remain on the top of consciousness of all of his patients. So now I want to talk about how you can use that same principle to optimize your customer base, or to do a better job at what we call patient relationship marketing. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to have a system. We want to set up a system for capturing and segmenting the different types of clients. So first of all, we have past patients. We want to reactivate or recapture, as we would say, past patients. Why? Because reactivating past patients is pretty much the equivalent of getting new patients, okay? Because if you can get these people to come back to you, they're essentially like a new patient all over again. And it's a lot easier and a lot less expensive to reactivate an old patient than it is to go out there and try to get a new one from someone that you don't have a relationship with. So how do we do that? Well, one of the first things, and the easiest way to do this, is to put together what we call a reactivation letter. And what we want to do is we want to have a letter inviting them back, okay? And what do we want to offer them in that letter? Well, part of the reason why you need to have a unique selling proposition developed first is because part of you developing your USP is coming up with your different service offerings. So, for example, a lot of people that have dropped out of corrective care, you know, they may not necessarily see a need to come back for more chiropractic care if they're not in pain. However, they may see a need to come back for more wellness care, except we won't be calling it wellness care. We'll be calling it your new weight loss program, or your new diet program, or your, get fit for the summer program, or some kind of unique service offering that gives us a reason to go back and communicate with these people and invite them back for our new and exciting program. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. You can do that in a reactivation letter, postcard. I always recommend, also picking up the phone, but again, it's all about what you're actually going to say when you contact these people. You need to have a reason to offer them to come back. Okay, next, we want to talk about present patients. We want to do a better job at retaining the patients that you do have. For example, I was speaking with a doctor recently, and he revealed to me that 60% of his patients are inactive. Okay, so if 60% of your patients are inactive, that means that you have a 60% attrition level. Okay, so 60% of your patients, are dropping out and not coming back. if by doing something either before they get to your office or after they get to your office, if we can do something to reduce that attrition level, let's say we reduce it down to 45%, so we go from 60% to 45%, that is a 15% decrease in attrition, okay? Now stay with me. Now, a 15% decrease in attrition or lost patients is the same thing as getting a 15% increase in new patients, okay? Because if these people would have normally dropped out and not done business with you anyway, if we can keep them in, it's almost the equivalent of having a whole new patient for a longer lifespan than what they would have spent with you normally, okay? So that's what we want to do by retaining them. Now, how do we do that? One way that we do that is by doing an email newsletter, okay? I think every chiropractor should be doing an email newsletter, but don't make it boring, okay? Don't, realistically, people don't only want to hear about fibromyalgia or scoliosis or arthritis or neck pain or back pain. They want to hear about interesting things going on in your life too. They want to buy into you, So talk about how you were, in the yard playing basketball with your son, and you fell and hurt yourself, and you realized that if you would have taken these precautions, you wouldn't have injured yourself, and so here's 3 precautions that you can take to avoid an injury. And oh, by the way, should you find yourself injured, please fill out this form to come in for chiropractic care or treatment. Okay, something like that, something interesting. Okay, of course, we want to work the back end. Now, what do we mean by that? We want to add back end products and services. So this could be your supplements and your vitamins. Okay, we want to make sure that they actually know that you're offering this. Don't mistake the fact that you can offer something for the fact that you are offering it, because they're not the same. Okay, they actually need to know that you have this and what it does. So you could shoot a little video series and talk about each one of your vitamin supplements or whatever. Okay, we want to talk about, again, some of your other wellness programs and things that we can do to offer people to come back for more care. And again, the last one would be perspective. Now, to be honest with you, most of you watching this video aren't going to have any prospective patients. Why? Because you're not doing any marketing, so you're not generating any lead flow. Because probably the only people that you're getting right now are people who have a dire need. But for example, let's say if I were to implement this system in your practice or whatever, you would actually have some lead flow. So let's work with that. So what that is prospective patients, people who have had an interest in something from some sort of marketing that you put out there, whether it be your website, an ad, a letter, postcard, whatever, and they've raised their hand and said that they have an interest. They just have not actually, I guess, received any care, treatment, wellness programs, or spent any money with you, basically. Okay, so now what do we want to do? We want to follow up with them. There's a couple of ways that we can do this. The easiest way is actually in an automated fashion, like on your website. We put what we call an autoresponder, which is an automated email follow-up system that sends multiple emails at the predetermined intervals that you specify. Okay, so when someone enters their name and email address, they now get an automated course from you or whatever on health tips or whatever. Okay. Next, of course, we want to follow up. If people were actually calling your office, we could actually, again, send them a shock and awe package in the mail with some of your credibility pieces and things that you do, okay? There's different ways that you can follow up. Of course, greeting cards are a great way to follow up with people if they're, calling in from your ad or requesting your report or some sort of lead generation magnet that you're giving away to build a list of prospective patients. Now, a lot of times, because most of you don't have any prospects, a lot of times people will say, well, why would I actually want to do that if I have a bunch of people that are interested but haven't purchased anything? Well, they just haven't done business with you yet. Okay, the rule of thumb is that there's always going to be more people out there who are interested in doing business with you at some point than there are right now. Typically, only 1 to 2% of people will want to take advantages of your services at the moment. So that means you're missing out on about 98% of the people you could be. Whatever you're doing, whatever amount of business you're doing right now, know that you could be doing 98% more, okay, by having some lead flow. All right. Now, when you get those leads, you want to nurture them by educating them on what you do and why it's important to receive chiropractic care. And then, of course, you want to close, okay, which is a sales term, but it basically means you want to get them to come in and receive treatment from you, okay? So that's pretty simple. It's pretty much a 3-step process that you can use to reactivate and maintain past, present, and prospective patients. Okay? Now, in the next video, I will actually teach you how to use your unique selling proposition to reach out to joint venture partners and develop strategic alliances. In the meantime, please remember, even as a doctor, if you're in business, then you're in marketing. And if you're not in marketing, then you're really not in business. But there's no need to climb the mountain of success by yourself when you can stand on the shoulders of giants. Make the right decision.